Hello, good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, please use the chat box. I need a quick confirmation to be sure the audio is loud and clear. Okay, I see Dauda. Thank you very much. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining. Yusuf Abdul Kadir. Thank you very much, sir, for joining. Good morning to you. And thanks for the confirmations. All right. So I believe you can hear me. Chinedu, thank you very much. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining today. All right. Um, so I want to believe the audio is solid and we can push forward. All right. Right. So good morning once again. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's edition of the Morning Market Review. All right. Um, if today is your first time here, just join us today. Good morning to you too. Thank you for joining. You're most welcome, and it's great to have you join us for today's edition of the Morning Market Review. All right. So on this forum every day, we get to look at what's going on in the markets. All right. In terms of fundamentals and technical setups. Okay. And this is also with the hope that we'll be able to pick a few entries and trade ideas for this session and even for the rest of the week as well. That is a set that we can add to our watch list, okay, for the rest of the week. All right, let's get back to it without further ado. Usually, I like to start with the majors. Here's with USD as one of the currencies, okay, starting from USD index itself. Um, and from there, uh, I'm going to give us about two or three instruments that we can, of course, look at. And then um, the instruments that we are also interested in, we'd also have the opportunity to drop them later on so that we can analyze that chart together, okay, for trade opportunities. Right. Let me also have that. I usually say this. All of this, all of these efforts is also with the hope that when you have listened long enough here, you are also able to come up with your own profitable strategies that, of course, give you an edge over the markets. All right. So right about now, I'm going to head straight to the trading platform since we do not have much in terms of fundamentals on the economic calendar. Okay. So I'm going to head straight to the trading platform. Just a second while I do that. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining. What I see here is Wisdom A1, right? That must be the name of your device. It came in right at the time, just about to start technical analysis. Okay, right there. There you go. Right. So I have displayed the trading platform, and then this is the USD index on the daily time frame. All right. Now, if you have joined us long enough here, you would have realized that I personally like to start from here with the index. I like to understand the direction of the USD index first, all right? And then with this in mind, I can easily relate this to the rest of the major pairs, all right? As well as indices and maybe gold as a commodity as well because of the relationships that these assets have. All right. So again, this is the USD index, and of course we've talked about this many times. Many times we've talked about this. I remember uh, last session here, that was last week Tuesday, we highlighted how this has been in a strong downtrend, all right, in a strong downtrend, and then let's see, that was Tuesday 22nd, okay, Tuesday 22nd, somewhere here, all right, April 22nd, this candle right here, okay, what's that session? All right, so I was highlighting to us how this level, that is 98, we are around 98. Victor, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to edit this to reflect the 98 level. Okay, right there. Okay, so from this level now, this support level, I highlighted how it represents a major support area for price. And then I pointed the price action back here. Okay, if you look at what we got back here, this was March of 2022. This was okay. This was March 10. A week later, March 17, price was tested that same 98, and then end of March, March 31, price also returned to that same 98 price level. All right, giving us a triple bottom right here. And what happened thereafter? That gave rise to this over 1,000 pips move. All right, that gave us to the over 1,000 pips back then. All right. And right about now, currently, we have price returning to that same 98 level. All right. That's why it's quite significant. It's difficult to ignore, okay, because of what we have seen or what we saw in the past, sometime in 2022, okay, give us triple bottom, and that gave rise to about 1,000 pips movement to the upside. All right. Now that price is back at 98 level, will history repeat itself at this current level? Okay, only time will tell. All right. And then I also remember, I also said in one of these sessions that the further decline we have for USD index because it's been in a long-term downtrend. All right. Because it's been in a long-term downtrend since it tested this 110 level. It's been in a long-term downtrend, giving us series of lower highs and lower lows all the way to 98. All right. Now, two things for me. It's possible, like we saw back in 2022, that this level would be the bottom, and then this will give rise to another rally. Okay, that's very much possible. And what would invalidate this for me, what would cancel this setup for me, is if we now see a close below, if price eventually takes out the 98 level, all right, then I may have to switch to a more bearish bias for USD index, all right. Now, since it tested 98 level back last week, from this support level, major support level, price pushed higher to 99.6, all right? And then we see yet another fall to this level. This was yesterday's candle, this red candle right here. Yeah, it was yesterday's candle, all right? So it pushed lower again yesterday. And of course, this is like the result of investors lack of confidence, all right? Lack of confidence in the US economy as a result of Trump's policies. Okay, there's so much uncertainty around that topic, all right? So yesterday it fell again, and now we're seeing some bullish correction right here. Now, what would again further solidify the bullish bias that I have for USD index as long as it stays above 98 would be a break above 99.6 level. All right, would be a break above this resistance at 99.6. So right now, we have resistance at 99.6, and then we have support at 98. Okay, for the USD index. All right. To a very large extent, the direction in which this breaks out would be pretty much significant moving forward for USD index. All right. And like I pointed out earlier, according to the price action that we saw sometime in 2022, I'm more expecting a bullish breakout for USD index here. Again, like I said, in my opinion, based on the price action from all the way back in 2022, we got a triple bottom right at this major support level, and that gave rise to over 1,000 pips of bullish movement for the dollar index. Very, very fantastic. All right. So only time will tell if we're going to get the same scenario right there. But what would confirm that, or what would confirm the potential for that would be first a break above this resistance at 99.6. All right, so that's what we need to look out for. Now, all of this is happening on the daily time frame to give us a more wide perspective of what to expect. Okay, so now I'm going to tune down to the lower one, say 1 hour time frame. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, again, on this 1 hour time frame, we can see how 99.6 has rejected price multiple times, right? Now, we currently have a triple top right there, okay, at 99.6 resistance. So like I said, it's going to take a break above 99.6 to confirm a bullish move for USD index, all right? Right about now, 99.6 has rejected price, and we're seeing a push to the downside. And currently, price is below the 50-period moving average, all right, for the USD index. All right, moving on to Euro USD. Moving on to Euro USD. Right. For Euro USD now, we're going to take out all of this from last session. Okay. For Euro USD now, I remember pointing out this significant on the monthly time frame. Okay. It looks like this. Right. It looks like this on the monthly time frame. Okay. Now, don't forget. I've also said that for this monthly time frame, of course, we're really not paying attention to the monthly time frame as day traders, all right, or as scalpers. We're really not paying attention to the monthly time frame. We may as well use it to just get some perspective. And of course, the simple reason again is because monthly or the weekly time frames are so far out that it really doesn't have much relevance to our trading. All right. I've mentioned this to a couple of times. Okay. So on the monthly time frame, we have this trend line. Of course, rejected price multiple times, quite a number of times, and then eventually uh, we got this break above, this bullish break above that trend line. All right. So what it also means is that expect this trend line moving forward to act as support for price, and then has potential for more push to the upside. Okay. Now, if you look at the daily time frame, for example, if you look at the daily time frame to get some clarity, this here, this here represents the same trend line that we drew on the monthly time frame. All right, this represents the same trend line we drew on the monthly time frame. All right, so what this means is that for the month of April, this is the candle right here. Back to the monthly time frame. For the month of April, this one candle there represents what has happened so far in this month of April. All right. Now, to push this to a lower one, daily time frame, this is what we have. All right. And we could see how that same trend line, we now have on daily time frame a bearish engulfing candle. All right. On that trend line. Okay. Now, for this bearish engulfing candle happening on that trend line, of course, is a bearish reversal pattern for the euro dollar. All right. It's a bearish reversal pattern. And then if you tune down even to the 4 hours time frame, I see somewhere that we have, I hope I find it, that we have um, head and shoulder pattern. All right. I'm going to highlight it in a second. Okay. So here we have the 1.12 level, and then next to that, we have it should be around 1.1360. Okay. And then above that, we have 1.14109. 14109. Okay. Now, looking at this here, right here we have the head. Here we have the left shoulder, which has also given rise to triple top. All right. And then next to that, we also have the right shoulder right there. Okay. Now, this is on the 4 hours time frame, and this head and shoulder pattern, of course, is a bearish reversal pattern. Okay. It's a bearish reversal pattern. Don't forget, we started with the trend line on the monthly time frame. We tuned down to daily, and then we can see that on the daily time frame, price is currently below that trend line. All right. And that same trend line has given rise to this bearish engulfing candle. All right. Which in itself is a bearish pattern. Okay. And then on top of that, we also have uh, this head and shoulder pattern on the 4 hours time frame. All right. So all of these are pointing to a selling pressure. All right. All of these are pointing to a selling pressure. Okay. So what we now need to see here is for price to break below the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern. It comes in around 1.13172. Okay. Right. So we need price to take out this neckline in order to confirm the head and shoulder pattern, which is, of course, a bearish reversal pattern. All right. Now, even for this, of course, the market has the final say. The market has the final say. So at the end of the day, if we see instead a break above this resistance, if price takes out this resistance effectively, then we can expect further push to the upside for Euro USD. But as it is right now, as long as it stays below uh, this resistance, then I'll be looking for opportunities to sell, especially upon a break below the neckline. Again, comes in around 1.13172. for Euro USD. All right, it's one that I'm watching really closely for this trade opportunity because it has plenty room to the downside. Okay, that's plenty room to the downside. But of course, we need that to play out. And again, for because this is Euro USD, has USD as the counter currency. All right. So what that means is that for this to push the downside, it means that we must see some strength in the dollar. Okay. We must see some strength in the dollar for Euro to fall on this asset. All right. Okay, I'm checking the comments now. Upper and lower way should be higher and lower of the previous one. Government candle because consistency which is lower than the 7. All right. Yeah. There are a lot of definitions for either bullish engulfing or bearish engulfing candle. All right. But for me, what is important is for me to see it at either resistance or support. So for instance, I'm going to go back to it on the daily time frame now. All right, on the daily time frame. For me, sufficiently, this red candle here on the happening on the daily time frame is longer, all right, than the previous green candle. All right. That in a way is sufficient for, especially if it's happening at a key level. All right, especially if it's happening at a key level. All right. Imagine that for this green candle right here, of course, it pushed higher, but a higher price was quickly rejected. And that's what gave rise to this long upper wick. All right. That's what gave rise to this long upper wick. And then next to that, we got a follow through candle, further confirming that rejection. All right. A higher price was quickly rejected. So that's what gave rise to that long upper wick. And then we got a follow through candle that closed below the previous candle. All right. So for me, that's enough confirmation for a bearish engulfing candle, especially, like I said, especially because it's happening at a key level. All right. So it's not one to ignore. It's not one to ignore. All right. Then we then tune down to the 4 hours time frame. And then we have head and shoulder pattern. So what would now be the last confirmation here for a bearish entry would be a break below this neckline right here, right? If we get that, a break below this neckline, of course, that's going to be a fantastic setup for a sell, all right? Now, again, what would invalidate this, like I said, would be a close above resistance around 1.14109. All right. So that's my play for Euro USD. And this is the 4 hours time frame. Okay. Moving on to pounds USD, moving on to pounds USD. Okay, from the last time, it hits resistance, starting from the daily time frame. We hit resistance at 1.345, suppose. 1.345. Right. Okay, so we hit resistance at 1.345. Okay. And then if you look back at what happened here back in September of 2024, right? The last time price got to that resistance at 1.345. Okay. That gave rise to this bearish move, pretty much very aggressive, right? Over 1,000 pips right there from that resistance. Okay. And now that price is back here, right? We can, by way of technical analysis, we can also have the same expectation for price. Okay. And also have the same expectation And again, what would cancel this would be if price eventually takes out that resistance. That is, if we see price closing above that resistance and then it continues. Okay, we close above, we get a retest back as support, and then more bullish move from support. That would be the beginning of another push higher. Okay, but if price takes out, in the event that price takes out the resistance, it closed above the resistance, but we get on the next candle or a few candles after, we get it closed back below the resistance. All right, that would mean that all of the price action here would be a fake out, and then that may also give rise to an aggressive move in the opposite direction. All right. But as it is right now, as long as price stays below 1.345, I'm expecting some bearish pressure at that resistance until we see a close above the resistance for pounds USD. Now, this is the daily time frame to give us a more wider perspective, all right? To give us a more wider perspective. So that's the daily time frame. H4 looks like this. H1. Even 30 minutes. Okay, so this is 30 minutes time frame. Currently, prices are above the 50 period moving average. Prices are above it, right? Um, so what we need to see here, right? So what we need to see here is a break above resistance or a break below support right here on the 30 minutes time frame. All right. A break below the resistance side would mean that we get a retest of 10.345. All right. And then a break below the support it signify some bearish pressure right there. Okay, so on the 30 minutes time frame, this is what I'm going to be looking out for. If price close above this resistance, all right, price close above this resistance, takes it out, then I'm expecting price to push towards the resistance at 1.345. Okay, on the other hand, if it takes out the support side, then I'm going to expect some further push to the downside. All right. Oh, absolutely, Eddie. You can't combine moving average and RSI. Okay, you can't confirm that. Can't confirm that. You can't use that rather. Combine your setup with the RSI to know the overboard and so to affect your setup when what's the RSI will be getting the set back. To say actually so no, you don't have to stop looking at the RSI, but like you said, you can combine it with the moving average to make your strategy even more effective. All right, to make your strategy even more effective. So the minute it is oversold, when it's oversold, what it means is that we're looking for an opportunity to buy. All right, we're looking for an opportunity to buy. And then combining that with moving average, we now be looking for when you have a cross, all right, where you have a moving average cross, all right, so that can give you the confirmation we need for a buy, all right. If you turn it on its head, again, you're using the RSI. If it's overbought, that means you are now looking for a sell opportunity. Again, if you want to wait till may have to combine two moving averages, all right, so that when you would look out for a strategy when you see a cross, okay, for the moving average. So that would be the way I would combine RSI plus moving average, all right, for AD. And you will see that that would significantly improve your strategy. Okay, so moving on to USD cards. Moving on to USD cards. Moving on to USD cards. All right. This is the daily time frame. This is daily time frame. But I don't want to start here because I saw something interesting on the weekly time frame. Okay. Again, don't forget, I used these higher time frames for some perspective. All right. Again, as day traders, we're really not paying attention to the monthly or weekly, but of course, we can use it to get some perspective on the chart. Okay, so this is what I saw on the weekly time frame. It's a channel from this low back here at 1.2. All right. Right here. Here as well. Trying to fine tune it. Okay. Now for this support here, you can see how, of course, this trend line has supported price multiple times since it tested 1.2 major support level. All right. Back in May of 2021. All right. So since that time, we started seeing series of higher lows and higher highs. Right. Here a support, back here a few pips to the trend line, support level here as well. Fast forward to December of 2023, support, September of 2024, support, September of 2024, support, and currently uh, April of 2025, we also see how this trend line is also active as support for price. All right. So this is, of course, one to watch. All right. This is one to watch. To extend this to create a channel, I'm going to hold onto this and then drag it to the other side to get the resistance. All right. So somewhere right there. Okay. So I have a channel. Okay, I have a channel right there. Now, don't forget, 1.387 is also one that we've talked about multiple times. This level right here, 1.387. We've talked about it multiple times. And again, the reason is because it was the resistance of a 2-year long consolidation. All right. Yeah. Started from here, 2022 October, all right? And then we got a breakout 2024 November, all right? As resistance, as support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, multiple times, and eventually broke out to the upside. And then that gave rise to close to 1,000 pips, all right? That gave rise to close to 1,000 pips right there. Okay, so I also mentioned that the longer this consolidation phase lasted, the more aggressive the resulting breakout would be, all right? So again, fast forward to this period from December of 2024, right, to uh, April of 2025, also saw this sideways movement, moving from resistance to support multiple times within 1.445 and 1.43. All right. And then eventually we got a break to the downside. We got a break to the downside. And so far, price is now back at 1.387. All right. Price is now back at 1.387. Again, this 1.387 represents the uh, resistance of that 2-year long consolidation that I just highlighted to us. All right. So for these to uh, become bullish, all right, for this to become bullish, do not also forget this trend line right here. I showed us what it looks like on the different time frame from this 1.2 support level, and currently is now acting as support for price right here. Okay, so that further points to the potential of this becoming bullish from the current level. But first, we need to see price take out resistance at 1.387 for USD CAD. All right, we need to see price take out resistance at 1.387. So far, this is more sideways. All right, this is more consolidation for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For the past 11 trading days, all right, it stayed in this single base, all right, it's been consolidated, all right, this straight line, all right. So, again, like I said, it's going to take a close above 3 to further confirm the potential for more push to the upside, all right, for USD CAD. Okay, I'm going to take you in a minute, but before that, I want to quickly look at gold before we now move into uh, your own instruments that you are interested in. Now, for gold, similar to what we saw for Euro USD, okay, similar to what we saw for Euro USD, it should be on the H4 time frame as well. All right. So we have the high here around 34.95. We have the all-time high around 33495. Okay. And then previous support was somewhere around it's 300. Okay. Just stay with me. All right. So of course here again we have the head, then here the left shoulder, and then right here as well represents the right shoulder, okay, for gold on the H4 time frame, right? Resistance of around 3360. Okay, resistance around 3360. And then we also have this trend line. You can, of course, easily replicate this on the chart so that you can have all of these as well to know what to look out for. One of my favorite assets to trade. Okay, all right. So this is gold on the 4 hours time frame. Like I said, you can replicate all of this on the chart. We have the all-time high around 34.95 resistance. We have support, all right, around 3,300 right here, represented by this horizontal line. Okay, and then I have this trend line as well that has connected resistance here, support here, and then support here as well. Okay, so in head and shoulder pattern represents a bearish reversal pattern, represents a bearish reversal pattern. All right. So again, what we need to see here to confirm head and shoulder pattern is again a break of this neckline. All right, a break of this neckline. Once I see that, that would be my signal to short gold. Okay, that would be my signal to short gold. And on the other hand, what would also invalidate this would be if price takes out the resistance at 33.60, all right, to cancel out the bearish bias that I currently have for gold, all right. Now, what I need to look out for on this chart, like I said, the 8-hour time frame would be a close below the neckline, all right? And then I'll be able to represent that neckline with this trend line, all right? With this trend line. Here was resistance, here support as well, all right? So that gives more strength to the trend line. So I need to see price take out that trend line to confirm the bearish bias that I have for gold. Again, however, if what we see is a close back above the resistance, all right, then it's going to have the potential to uh, push back to the all-time high at 34.95 for gold. Yeah, it doesn't matter if the other shoulder is long or not. What we are interested in is an area. Don't forget, we're not treating these candles in isolation, all right? We're more interested in treating them as an area, okay? So here we have head, all right? Here we have the left shoulder, and right here I see a right shoulder, okay? And so far, price has stayed below that resistance, right? Price has stayed below that resistance. So the last confirmation I need to see here is a break below the neckline. Okay, it's a break below the neckline. Yeah, Oyeshino, if you can hear me, you have the floor. You
Hello,
have
sir.
your hands raised for a while. If you can hear
Yes,
me, you have the floor.
I said, can you analyze US 100?
Okay, all right. I'll get to it.
Where?
Yeah, Bonnie, the audio is back. All right, US 100, US 100. Okay. For US 100 now, hasn't changed. All right. From this resistance, we got this push to the downside, and then this area sufficiently acted as support for price. All right. We've seen it multiple times. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 right here. Okay. So when price hit to this support, I was expecting some bullish reaction from that support. All right. And then we got that price pushed higher, and then we saw some retracements to confirm the higher low, low. We got high, we got higher low, and now we're seeing a push to confirm the high. We're seeing a push to confirm the higher high. All right. So for US 100, it's going to as long as price stays above this support at 19,500. Okay. If you look back to what has happened right here as well, say at 19,500, and then right here. Okay, so that's why I have eyes on this snap. And what that means is that I continue to take buy trades. Now, is it loud and clear for you? Victor says audio is bad. Bonnie says no audio. Can I get more confirmations? How is the audio for you? Okay, I'm going to take it again, but I need us to confirm that the audio is solid now. Pensky, I'm going to take the US 100 again, but I need us to confirm that the audio is solid now. Okay, Chikron says it's better. Victor says it's okay now. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Bonnie, again. So I'm going to take the US 100 again. Okay, from the daily time frame, started here. All right. And then I remember from last week, we also analyzed this. At that time, price was here. Okay, price was here. It was just giving us the higher low last week. All right, when we analyzed price. Okay, so from this resistance, price fell all the way to the support, this level support. We see that that same level at 17,346 has supported price multiple times in the past. Okay, so that's why we have eyes on that level at 17,346. Okay, and it supported price, and then it gave rise to this push higher. Okay, to close to resistance at 19,500. Okay, now as a result of that resistance, it sent price lower, but of course it created a higher low. All right, it created a higher low. See that? right? It created a higher low. It did not return to this level or below it. So we got low here, we got high, we got higher low. So the expectation from this level is that we see a higher high. We're going to see price close at some level above this previous high right here. Okay. And so far, that is quite playing out as expected. It is now above this resistance at 19,500. Okay, so I said as long as price stays above 19,500, then we can expect further push to the upside for US 100. All right, so what that means is that as much as possible, I'm going to be looking for opportunities to buy above 19,500. All right, what is going to invalidate this again would be a close back below 19,500. Well, as long as price stays above 19,500 level, then I'm going to be looking for opportunities to buy, all right, and expect price to continue to push higher. Okay, and this is what it looks like on the 1 hour time period. Okay. Right, this is what it looks like on the 1 hour time period, and then you see how we continue to see series of higher lows and higher highs. Okay, and then the current candle uh, bullish. So at the end of this 1 hour, the end of this 1 hour, if it closes as it is, okay, which we just have, all right, which we just have, all right. So, of course, because of the way this candle is aggressive, let's look at 30 minutes because we're going to need some good level for a buy, right? Okay, so 30 minutes we have resistance here. Okay, and then support around this level, okay, on the 30 minutes time period. Right. So on this 30 minutes time frame for US conference, what I need to see, number one, because of this resistance at 19,620, we may get a retracement back to this support. Then at that support, I look for a buy pattern at this support at 19,553. Okay. If it doesn't return to this support and it takes out resistance, of course, that would also be my trigger to long US 100. Okay. Because of this resistance, as it is right now on the 30 minutes time frame, you can expect some reaction, which we are seeing so far. All right. And then this may push lower all the way to the previous support or the previous resistance at 19,553. Okay. And then from this level, I'm going to look for some bullish pressure to signal my entry for a buy. All right. Of this support 19,523. Okay. A recap on USD CAD and then we call it today. As was there. USD USD CAD. Okay, so for USD CAD, what we expect is for price to either take out resistance at 1.387, all right? So I, I, I like say this on the this level or this trend line support is impacting price since it fell to 1.2 support. Right. So for this support now, if I see some bullish confirmations, it will be my trigger to long, and especially if you now see a close above 1.387, then that would be the confirmation I need uh, to long USD CAD. All right, to long USD CAD. Right. I hope you got that down. Yes, I hope you get that down. All right. So this is where we draw the curtain for today. On today's edition of our money market review, this is where we draw the curtain. I hope we have one or two assets that you can part of watch list for trade opportunities for today and even for the rest of the week. It's been really nice talking to us for the past 1 hour. Thank you very much for joining. Tomorrow is another day, and wish us a great trading day.